this is Wendy. So let's have a little conversation about being extremely frugal and what does that exactly mean. So I've done some research lately and I realized that I'm definitely not in that category of being extremely frugal. I am frugal to a point, but I've looked at my spending habits over the last several years and I do like to buy things. Now, with that being said, I do like my maximalist approach. You can kind of see that in my bookshelf back here. That's just a snippet of things. I do like my things surrounded by me that make me happy. And I'm not a person that can be a minimalist and have a house with a couch and a chair and no pictures on the wall, no decor, nothing like that. That's just not my personal style. So anybody can do whatever they want. This is not a video to steer you or instruct in one direction or the other. I just want to get my thoughts out there and have some conversations with people because I think this is important in this particular day and age that we find ourselves in. So I'm pretty old school. I like to thrift shop. I do like to go vintage shopping. And I do like higher end things, but I am not going to pay full price for them. Now that might be my cheap side coming out, but that's okay. I'm not a cheap person. So what do I mean by that? Well, I do have some very nice clothes in my wardrobe that I've had for many, many years. Some things are newer, but they're not brand new. They have been thrifted or I've bought them from a resale shop. They might be Ralph Lauren. They might be high end labels like that. So I might have a $200 Oxford shirt that I literally paid $6 for. So that's kind of what I'm talking about being frugal. Now, where I haven't been frugal is in some other areas, and I've been changing all of that stuff up. So, for example, I do not have cable TV. I haven't had cable TV for, 25 years because I just think it's all garbage. And that's just my personal opinion. If you like it, that's great. And I just could not spend the money on something where I was going to only watch one or two channels. Anyways, so I have internet where I live. I'm out in the country and I do work from home, so I do need to have internet. I was paying $150 a month and I switched to a different provider, which typically isn't easy to do when you're out in the country, but there is more than one provider out here. So now I'm at $85 a month. So that was really cool. And then I went through my insurance policies for my vehicles and was able to get $65 knocked off of that per month without really losing any of the benefits that I enjoy. I drive a luxury car, but it's used, it's 100% paid for, and it's 2011. I had it for almost 4 years. So even though it is considered a luxury car, I still got that car within budget. My other car was literally falling apart. So I needed something new. And I bought that car 4 years ago. Absolutely love it. And it's very low maintenance. It hasn't given me any issues or anything like that. So that's just another example of what I spend versus don't spend my money on. The only debt that I do have is my mortgage for my home, and I'm on acreage here out in the country, so that was something that I've always wanted, and I absolutely love that. But I don't have credit card debt, I don't have vehicle debt, I don't have medical debt or anything like that, so I'm very fortunate in that area. And I want to become even more frugal, so I do save my money. I do have what you call a slush fund, an emergency fund. I do invest. I just have money where I need to have money right now, and I'm very comfortable with that. But I'm taking right now half of my paycheck every 2 weeks and putting that into a savings account that's a high yield. I think it's, what do you call it? SoFi, S-O-F-I. And I'm not touching that, and I don't even miss it. And I plan on putting even more into that as I go along. So I pretty much have everything that I need to survive, and I have enough clothes, things, to feed myself with, and I don't need a fancy new car right now. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with that. So all these little things, and I just want to have these conversations with other people. I just turned 54, single, never been married, no children. And I don't know if that's a rarity these days. It seems to be, because people are always floored when they ask me, oh, are you married, have children? And I answer no to both of those. And they kind of look at me like I'm a freak of nature. I've never wanted to have children. I love children, just never wanted to have any. And I've just never been married, haven't found the right person yet. And don't even know, even if I did, if marriage would be something that I'd want to partake in. And that's just my personal thoughts, my personal opinions on, based off of who I actually am. So it would be kind of cool to just have some conversations with other people out there, even if you're younger than my age range. I mean, I literally grew up in the 70s and the 80s, which I call the last great generation, right? The 80s was, because we didn't have the intrusion of cell phones and computers like we do now. And I prefer to keep it that way. Yes, I do have to work on a computer for work because I work remotely. And do I like it? No, I despise it. I've done it for many, many years, and I need to do something else. And I'm a very creative person, so I've been working on figuring out other channels of things I can do in my life to kind of switch gears, right? Because there's nothing wrong with doing that. And I do like old school stuff, meaning I do like having no contact with people if I don't want to. Old school meaning I want to meet you in person, I want to chat with you in person. I don't want to do it via text. I don't partake in any social media. Again, that's just me. And I did have Instagram up until last December, and I was just using it to follow some fashion, some garden people on there, and of course watching cute cat videos because I have 2 cats. I love cats. But I realized I'd end up spending all this time watching these cat videos, and then it'd be 45 minutes later and I'm still scrolling through looking at cute cat or cute kid videos or whatever. And I realized that that was just a waste of my time. And if you complain about not having time, well, look at what you're doing. That might be wasting time. And that was one of those things. And I wasn't reading books, and I'm an avid reader. I used to read 1 or 2 books a week, and I hadn't been doing that for the longest time. So since I got off of Instagram, I think it was in December, I've actually read 5 books now, and that's pretty amazing, because that's literally just going to bed about an hour before I go to sleep and picking up a book and reading my book. And I love doing that. It's relaxing for me. I love to read. I love to be transported to another place, another time, or learn something new. Anything, right? Whatever tricks your fancy, do whatever you want. If you don't like to read, that's great. I don't like to do the e-reader thing. I'm one of those people. I like to hold the book. I like to feel the book. I like to smell the book. And that's just me being old school. I like being old school, old-fashioned, whatever, retro. That's just how I like to live my life. And I'm trying to inject actually more of that into my life as society, in my opinion, spins more and more out of control. People are just, I don't know. That'll be another video. So anyways, just wanted to kind of talk about the frugality part here, and how I'm going to go extreme frugal, meaning I'm going to cut back my spending even more. And I don't do a lot of that outside stuff. I'm not the person that goes to Starbucks. I'm not the person that goes out to dinner all the time, but I do spend it in other areas, and I've been keeping track of that, and now I know where I'm going to cut back on that. So I'll be updating on that as I go along. But again, I've cut out some expenses that were just monthly expenses, or got them down to, almost half of what they used to be, just by doing some research or changing things up. So possibilities are definitely out there. So anyways, let's have some conversations. Please leave me a comment below on what your thoughts are. Are you a frugal person or not? Do you like to kind of live that retro old school lifestyle? If you're in my age range, if you're in your 50s or your 60s, you're a product of that last era, right? The 60s, 70s, and the 80s for sure. And what's it like for people that are younger than us, and how are you guys responding to that? Are you choosing to do more of a retro, old school, old-fashioned lifestyle, or are you just going with the times? It'd be interesting to see how other people, females in general, how you guys are handling today's society and managing what you're doing with your life on that side of things. So Please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for weekly update videos. And we're going to do some more topics on this as well and talk about a few other things that I think are related to this. So stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Take care.